How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and today we're going to be talking about SOS and we're going to be talking about EBON today, which ended up having a very strong day inside the market. SOS ended up having a little bit of a pullback, but as we know, there's a lot of manipulation in the stock, and as well as Friday, we're going to have a good amount of sell-offs. Another thing that we need to realize, and we also covered it in yesterday's video, ever since we've had the Coinbase IPO, there's been quite the correction going on with a lot of stocks in this particular industry. We've seen this with Mara, we've seen this with Riot, we've seen it with Hive, and again, we're seeing this with SOS. But with the exception of EBON. So EBON ended up seeing some tremendous gains inside the market because, as we know, and what they informed us is that they have the equipment to mine Litecoin as well as Dogecoin. So just taking that into consideration and seeing how Dogecoin has been doing, it's been absolutely ripping it, is part of the reasons why we ended up seeing that strong movement in the EBON stock. So what we're going to be doing in this video is going to be doing a technical analysis for SOS and EBON, looking for areas just in case they pull back, and as far as areas for the upside and what we're looking for Monday next week. And then I'm also going to be doing the institutional ownership and as well as the short interest for SOS as well, so we're in the loop and we know exactly what is going on and so forth. So before I get into that, let's first talk about how Bitcoin is doing. We're going to be talking about how Ethereum is doing, and then we're going to be talking about Doge, of course, because Doge, EBON, hey, we got to put it in the videos now. So as far as Bitcoin is going to be up on the screen, Bitcoin is doing very well. It's building up that support and it's consolidating in that 60K range, and that's exactly what we are looking for. So as long as it's staying within that 60 to 64, and hey, 65 would be nice, of course, but that 60 to 65 range, I don't mind it consolidating and building support, because we know it will start building that strength to make that move to the upside to get to 70K, and we'll see a definite impact on our stocks. In regards to Ethereum is being very strong right now. It's killing it, as we know, doing all-time highs and so forth. We also know that SOS mines Ethereum, also Hive mines Ethereum and so forth. So just being aware of this, hey, this will definitely be reflected on our stocks, and I'm looking forward to seeing this next week. But for the most part, Ethereum is doing very well. And now Dogecoin. So just seeing how Dogecoin is actually doing, hey, I must say, I'm like, you know what, this is good. I know many of you who watch my videos are messaging me and saying like, yo, Dre, are you keeping up with Dogecoin? Hey, are you gonna be doing a Dogecoin video? And I must say, you know what, I'm definitely considering to be invested in Dogecoin. I am not currently, but hey, I might have to look into it, because by the way it's looking, Dogecoin, especially before the end of this year, looks like it's going to be hitting at least $1. So getting in right now still opens you to some upside, and hey, it can even go even further than that. So now that we covered those coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin, let's get into the segments of this video, and then I'll be giving you guys my final thoughts for SOS and EBON. You're not going to want to miss it. So let's get into it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for SOS. So we're going to take a look at the overall performance. So it ended up closing the day at $4.35, being down 3.97%. On the low, it ended up testing $4.11, as you can see over here. And it also ended up seeing a high of $4.60, which you could see over here as well. So one of the things that we want to take a look at are areas of resistance on this 5-day, 5-minute chart. And you can definitely see we have some resistance here right at this $4.60 level. And it being the high of the day, you already know we need to actually get past this area, especially coming into next week. So I could see with SOS getting past this $4.60 resistance level, then we can end up getting into testing the 470s. And this is right in line with coming back to the 200-day. So that's something to be aware of and to know and to look forward for next week. Now, when we take a look at areas of support, so we definitely see we have some support here at the $4.30 level. So the fact that we finished at $4.35 shows that that support level is actually holding up fairly well. We did have those chances where we ended up breaking it, but as you could see, we ended up recovering very quickly. You can even see on this dip right here that we had right around 9.35 when it got down to $4.12. And again, it wasn't there that long. You can take a look at the RSI down below. It's below 30, and if we know that it's below 30, that means you're getting the price at a steal. So I know a lot of short-term swing traders ended up taking advantage of this opportunity right here. So now what I want to show you guys is actually the 3-month 1-hour chart, and what we want to take a look at is seeing how those support levels are actually holding up. So when we see how it's holding up, we could see 430. It's definitely a proven area of support, but if we go down even further, we also have an area of support here right at this $3.80 level. So if we end up pulling back to that particular area, we'd want to see it rebound from there, because if this area ever did end up breaking, then the next level to look out for would be around $3.12. So I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of this. This is a stock that is heavily manipulated and it has a ton of short interest as well. So I just want you guys to be prepared and not surprised. So we already confirmed that $4.60 level is an area of resistance, but you could also see on the chart we have this $5 level that's an area of resistance as well. Once we're able to get past this $5 level, then we can definitely get up to where you see here around $5.30. Start building up that support, because we've built this particular type of support in the past as well, not too long ago, in between April 7th all the way up until the 12th. So if we can get into this area, build some support and some consolidation, then we can look forward to seeing that move to $6 and then catching up to the 200-day simple moving average. So that's what I'm going to be looking for SOS going into next week. On fintel.io, we're going to be taking a look at the institutional ownership and as well as the short interest for SOS. So let's get right into it. So overall institutional owners, there's a total of 16 for SOS. And as we scroll down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. And if we look since the beginning of March the 1st, there's definitely has been some interest being shown from institutions. We have Blackstone over here. We also have Vallejo as well as Clear Street and as well as AdvisorNet making movements as well with the stock. So just seeing this overall in general is actually really good to see, and it does show that institutions do believe in the long-term value of SOS and what it has to offer, because they wouldn't be touching this stock if they did not see any return on their investment whatsoever. So as we now go to the short interest that we're going to be checking out, the short volume ratio is at 16%. This is taking the latest market date from yesterday. So market volume as far as shares that have been traded was around 39.7 million, and as far as how many of those shares were shorted, it was around 6.3 million. One thing we take notice of right away as far as the short shares availability, it was around 750,000, and the short borrow free rate is at 36.15%. So this is very, very significant, and it's something to take into consideration, because this is how much anyone who's deciding to short SOS has to pay per share. Now, if we take a look at the short volume ratio history, we have seen it when it's been at its highs was on April the 7th, also April the 8th, and taking into consideration April the 9th. But one thing to be aware of, this is building up. So I just want you guys to understand that. So as far as what I'm going to be looking for, and I mentioned this in the technical analysis, is definitely seeing some upward movements in SOS, especially if we start seeing momentum from Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so forth, and just the overall crypto sector seeing a little bit more of a boost, because I know many companies have been affected, like the Mara, the Riot, and of course EBON is with Dogecoin, so I ended up getting a boost there. So that's what I wanted to update you guys on. So let's get into doing the technical analysis for EBON, eBank International. So overall performance on the day, it ended up closing at $4.82, being up 14.22% on the day. So very solid. On the low on the day, ended up testing $4.18, which you can see right over here. And on the high of the day, it ended up reaching $5.18. So that's a pretty much a $1 difference. So one of the things we want to take a look at right away are areas of resistance. So we definitely have some resistance here right at this $5 level. As you can see, this has definitely been the case throughout earlier parts of the week as well. So just taking a look at those recent trend, that's part of the reasons why when we had that strong push in the morning, it was able to get up into that 518s. It definitely would have gotten to the 520s if there was a lot more buying pressure and there wasn't a lot of sell-offs. Keep in mind, today is Friday, so usually if you do see some spikes, they're not going to be going on for that long. So we already established that $5 area resistance. Once it gets past, it definitely gains momentum. As you can see, even going down in after hours is at $5.06. So I would be looking for next week for EBON to be able to be comfortable trading above $5 and just closing the day on the end of Monday, to be exact, because then we can continue to have the bullish pattern. Because if it could have that consolidation and build that support at that $5 level, then we could definitely start seeing $6 to $7 by next week, by the end of next week. Now, the one thing I want us to take note of is areas of support. So we definitely have some solid support here right at this $4.80 level. So that's one thing I want you to be aware of as well. So if it ends up breaking this $4.80 level, as you can see right over here, then we can start testing the 200-day right here at $4.62. But of course, I would expect a rebound afterwards after that. Because if we take a look, especially how it did for the entire day, it didn't end up revisiting the low fours. It literally stayed above that 460. So that 460 area, I want to see that area continue to hold going into next week, as well as holding up this 480 area and being able to pass that resistance area at $5. Now I want to show you guys a bigger trend here, which is going to be on the 3-month 1-hour chart. You can see here the lowest level of support that we actually tested, and this was shown even in the past back in January there, is this area right here around $4.10. So are we going to be revisiting that area next week? Hey, we don't know. But one thing that we do know is that we're aware and we know these are possible places of where the stock could actually go. If it decides to pull back even further, then you already know it's going to definitely be a steep drop from there, because then we got to take a look at the 6-month chart. And taking a look at the 6-month chart will let us know, and it will show us it could potentially test 384 only if it decides to pull back that further. But I'm seeing the momentum in crypto, especially with Dogecoin having a great day and killing it. And we already know that EBON does do mining for Dogecoin as well. It's definitely looking good going into next week. So I'm looking forward to seeing EBON get into that $6 range. And yeah, that's what I wanted to kind of update you guys on for today. So for my final thoughts, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some tremendous upside from SOS coming next week, and as well as the months begin to progress. If you're a believer like myself that Bitcoin is going to be hitting 100K, and as well as Ethereum is going to continue to rip it and be on all-time highs, we are in a great play here. That also makes you want to put in the disclaimer: I'm not a financial advisor, and this isn't financial advice. So just know when you do invest, you're doing it at your own risk. We know there's a lot of market manipulation when it comes to SOS, and we also do realize the fact that it's also undervalued. And I'm definitely seeing the media is definitely trying to put out some propaganda. Like, I was on Webull, I use it quite a bit, and then a headline came up saying, well, SOS is overvalued. And all it was a statement. There was no article, there was no briefing, there was no nothing. They just posted that on there and they left it as that. So just seeing that, hey, the media is saying this, we're hearing this from different sources saying, oh, SOS is this, SOS is that. If you believe in a company and you have a lot of conviction, I'm telling you right now to block out all of the outside noise. Because we know by the end of this year, and there was a recent article, and we talked about this on Seeking Alpha, saying that, hey, SOS could definitely reach $77. So taking into consideration the current price of where it's at right now, I think it's at an absolute steal. And like I was saying before, it's going to be benefiting from Bitcoin and Ethereum in regards to them reaching those highs that we are looking for. Now, in regards to EBON, I must say EBON does offer a lot of diversification. and it's part of the reasons why I love and I have a position in Hive as well in my long-term portfolio. But in regards to EBON, the fact that they're able to mine Litecoin and they're going to be doing Dogecoin and they also have Bitcoin as well. Again, anyone who's looking for a little bit more diversity, then EBON definitely does give you that. They're also making chips and they also have their own exchange and are also farm as well. So taking this all into consideration, you get a pretty great package when it comes to EBON. And I love what they're doing, and this is part of the reasons why we ended up seeing that run up. And I do see a lot more institutions also taking notice as time goes forward. And especially if Dogecoin continues this run that it's going on, even if it does scale back and then decide to start consolidating, there's still more room that EBON can actually take advantage of. And I want you guys to know so you're aware of that. Just like SOS, I believe EBON is also undervalued as well. So if you haven't taken a look at it, then please do give it some sort of consideration. We've already known that they've been victims also of short reports, right? And they've been able to respond to that. And I must say, as far as the response is concerned, it was really well put together, and I'm happy that they were able to address it the way that they did. So for EBON and SOS, if you're going to be holding these particular stocks, like myself, again, I'm not telling you to do that because, I'm not a financial advisor. Definitely take advantage of the prices you see now, and also be aware there could be some possible pullbacks, which we talked about in the technical analysis. And if that does happen, you can get even a better deal. And that's part of the reasons why I share that with you guys in the first place. So I'm looking forward to next week. Let's see what happens. Anyone who's holding shares in any of these two companies, maybe you hold in both like myself. Hey, I'm excited for the future. Let's get it. Can't wait for next week. Peace.